Swam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishtava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishtavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratrijai Namah Panchatattvatmagam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupagam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jaitam Suratur Bangur Mamanda Mader Gati Matsarvasvadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Rashtralibhis Sevyamanos Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambi Vamshi Vata Tatastitaha Karsham Veno Saner Gopir Gopinatha Shriyastunaha Tapta Ganchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, we are in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. We discussed something about the 13th chapter. Now, in the 13th chapter, there is one verse which says, Karanam Gunasangasya Sadasat Yoni Janmashu. Karanam Gunasangasya Sangha means association. With what? Gunaha. By association, the modes of nature, three modes of nature, we get different bodies. That is Sat Asat Janmashu. Good bodies, bad bodies, beautiful bodies, ugly bodies, rich body, poor body, healthy body, unhealthy body. All kinds of things we get because of the three modes of nature. Association, three modes of nature. Now, Jiva and Prakriti were discussed in the previous chapter. Now, how the Jiva gets out of Prakriti, which is made up of three modes. And the process have been described as Amanitvam, Madambitvam, etc., etc. Now, the cause of association, the cause of bondage is association with the gunas. Now, question is, what are these gunas? What are the modes of nature? How does association, the modes of nature, take place? And what is the result of association with gunas? What are the characters of the person who are engrossed in the modes of nature? And how does one become free from the gunas? These are the questions which come in the mind of a person. So, this is how the questions may come without Arjuna asking a question. Bhagavan Krishna, he starts speaking. He says, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, first verse, Param bhuya pravakshyami jnananam jnanamuttamam yajñātvā munayas sarve param siddhimito gata. So, Param bhuyaha, bhuyaha means again. Pravakshyami, I am going to speak to you. Jnananam jnanamuttamam, the topmost of all the jnanas, the topmost of all the knowledge. Yajñātvā, knowing this, munayah sarve, all the sages, param siddhim itogata, means all the great sages, they got topmost benedict destination. So, where was this jnanam spoken before? Again, I speak more knowledge. param, which is superior to what has been spoken before. This knowledge is concerning the gunas, and also it talks about prakriti and also the jiva. Now, realizing this knowledge, yat gyatva, many sages, munayaha, attained perfection of understanding the param siddhi. Now, read the purport. So we'll see that how again this knowledge is spoken. How is it so? Where was it spoken before? Please read the purport.
From the 7th chapter to the end of 12th chapter, Sri Krishna in detail reveals the absolute good, the supreme personality of God. Now the Lord himself is further enlightening Arjuna. If one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotional service. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from the material entanglement. It has also been explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature that the living entity is entangled in this material world. Now, in this chapter, the Supreme Personality explains what those modes of nature are, how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to the knowledge given so far in other chapters. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attained perfection and transferred to the spiritual world. Now, the Lord now explains the same knowledge in a better way. This knowledge is far, far superior to all other process of knowledge, thus far explained, and knowing this, many attain perfection. Thus, it is expected that one who understands this 14th chapter will attain perfection. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So, what has been explained in this chapter is far superior to what has been explained. Now, we should not confuse this statement that Krishna is explaining something far superior to what is explained in the 9th chapter, last verse. In the ninth chapter, last verse, Krishna is told, Manmanabho madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So this is the last verse of the 9th chapter, where Krishna, he talks about prema bhakti. But now in this chapter, he's talking about in the 14th chapter, talks about Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yat Jnatva Jnananam Jnanamuttamam. Among all the jnanas which I'm going to speak to you now is the topmost. Just hold on. Just hold. So Yeah. Sorry, I had to change my place. I'm in Pune, GBC meetings, and the room which I'm in, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Maharaj is also there. I did not want to do a cause disturbance there, that's the reason. So, Jnananam Jnanam Uttamam. So, this knowledge which has been described in the 14th chapter is far superior to what has been described in the previous chapters, especially the 9th chapter. No, it is not so. So, this Jnananam Jnanam Uttamam means this topmost knowledge, considering the Jnana Mishra Bhakti. So, that has to be understood very clearly. That means what has been discussed in the previous chapter, 13th chapter, where Karanam Gunasangasya Sadasatyani Janmashu. So the same thing will be described Param more elaborately, more nicely. That has to be understood. Okay? It is not that it is transcendent, it is beyond the knowledge which Krishna gave in the 9th chapter, last verse. Okay? Now, idam jnanopashritya Idam jnanopashritya mama sadharmamagata sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyatanticha. Idam jnanopashritya. Taking shelter of this jnana, idam jnanopashritya. Mama sadharmyam agata sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyatanticha. So, by knowing this knowledge, Idam Jnana Pashtya, and taking shelter of this knowledge, Pashtya, then what happens? Sadharmya Magata. He attains the same nature of mind. Sadharmya Magata. Sargepi. Sargepi during the time of creation. Sarga means during the time of creation. Pralaye, even the time of destruction. Nopajayante Vedanticha. That person is not disturbed. He's not born at the time of Sarga. Nor he is destroyed at the time of creation. So this is the glory of the knowledge which is going to give. So I am going to describe to you that this knowledge has to be acquired by hearing from the spiritual master. So by hearing from the spiritual master constantly, sadharmya sadharmyam, attain a similar form, means a spiritual form of mind. So they attain liberation. At the time of creation, they are not born. At the time of pralaya, they attain liberation. So it is not that they are disturbed by these two things of nature. Okay. Next. Third verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, one doubt is there too. You told that is Gnan Mishra Bhakti, and in 9th chapter it is Bhakti. But ordinary person, how can they understand this differences, Prabhu?
The ordinary person will not understand this thing. We are doing Bhakti śāstrī, that is why we are talking about all these things. Ordinary person will not understand. That is why to understand Bhagavad Gita, you require a commentary. Without a commentary, you understand. There are few devotees in earlier days of the Islam movement, they saw this thing, this word, and understood that this is what is. So that is what they did. But it's not so. It's not that. And what our Acharya say? Ordinary people means initially they just started chanting or just take up Krishna consciousness in the beginning. For them, it's not taught. They were very serious and then Yeah. Internet says not stable. Didn't-
Hare Krishna. I think Prabhuji is not in the meeting, right? Rukmini Mataji, could you check with Prabhuji?
Okay, so some internet problem was there because I shifted my room. I will change the connection. So that is why this is not taught to everyone. For serious students only, this is taught. Okay. Next. Mama yonir brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarabhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Now material nature is called Mahat Brahma. It is also called Brahman. Mama yonir Mahat Brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham. Onto that Mahat Brahma, that is material energy, I impregnate. Tasmin garbham dadami. Dadami means I give. Garbha, I give garbha. Tasmin garbham dadamyaham. Sambhavaha sarabhutanam. All the living entities, sambhavaha sarabhutanam. Tato bhavati bharata. Because I am the original seed giving father into this material nature. So now, the atheistic Sankhya, they say there is no requirement for God because the material nature and the living entity, they come together and the whole material manifestation is there. No, material nature and living entity, they come together only by the influence of Supreme Lord. So when Krishna looks at material nature, from one eye, one rays come, that is the Jiva Shakti. From the other eye, the Kala Shakti comes. They combine with the material nature and take a form of Shambhu. And the Shambhu who actually impregnates the material nature. Krishna is not in direct contact with material nature. Krishna is not in direct touch with material nature. He does it through Shambhu. That is called Shivalinga. The bottom part of the Shivalinga is the Yoni. And the top part is the Shiva, Lord Shiva, Shambhu, who is nothing but the three modes of nature mixed with the Shiva Shakti and Kala Shakti. It takes up a personality. So that is the process of creation which is described. Yeah. Now, those people who are followers of Sankhya philosophy, they say that all the material nature is automatically produced by Krishna, by automatically produced. It doesn't require God. And they give the example of scorpion comes from rice. Scorpion doesn't come from rice, but scorpion, when it lays eggs, then from the eggs the rice comes. So the modern materialist scientists, they say the world is created by matter. The world is not created by matter, but there is a consciousness behind it. There is a creator behind it. So this verse is to refute the atheistic Sankhya philosophy. So please read the second paragraph of the purport.
The scorpion lays its eggs in piles of rice, and sometimes it is said that the scorpion is born out of rice. But the rice is not the cause of the scorpion. Actually, the eggs were laid by the mother. Similarly, material nature is not the cause of the birth of the living entities. The seed is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they only seem to come out as products of material nature. Thus, every living entity, according to his past activities, has a different body created by this material nature, so that the entity can enjoy or suffer according to his past deeds. The Lord is the cause of all the manifestations of living entities in this material world.
Okay. So, tasmin garbham dadami, I place in the garbha, the material nature, so that sambhava sarabhutana, the prakriti in itself cannot do anything. This is called Mahat Brahma. Prakriti is called Mahat Brahma. So, to think that the prakriti or the world creates by itself, unconscious world created by itself. That is wrong. Next. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murteya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murteya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. The same thing what is explained in the previous verse, it is more elaborately explained here. It says Aham, I am the Bija Pradapita. I am the father. Prakriti is the mother. And because I impregnate Prakriti, then Murtaya Sambhavanti, all the different forms are Sambhavanti, are manifested. Read the purport.
In this verse, it is clearly explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original father of all living entities. The living entities are combinations of the material nature and the spiritual nature. Such living entities are seen not only on this planet, but on every planet, even on the highest, where Brahma is situated. Everywhere there are living entities. Within the earth, there are living entities. Even within water and within fire. All these appearances are due to the mother, material nature, and Krishna's seed-giving process. The purport is that the material world is impregnated with living entities who come out in various forms at the time of creation according to their past deeds.
Now, what is this Prakriti made up of? Prakriti is made up of 3 gunas. Fifth verse says, Sattvam Rajas Tamaiti iti guna Prakriti Sambhavan Nibadyanti Mahabhaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. Sattvam Rajas Tamaiti guna Prakriti Sambhava Nibadyanti Mahabhaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. The gunas of Sattva, Rajas, Tama, material nature consists of the 3 modes, Sattva guna, Rajaguna and Tamaguna. And when the living entity comes in contact with the modes of nature, he becomes conditioned by the modes of nature. Nibaddanti, Mahabaho, Dehe, Dehinam, Avyayam. Dehe, Dehinam, he gets contaminated or bound by the modes of nature. Now, after speaking this, he speaks about each mode of nature. What is the nature of Sattva-guna, nature of Rajaguna, nature of Tamaguna. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashatmakam Anamayam Sukasangena Vadhati Jnanasangena Chanagha. What is the nature of Sattva-guna? Sattva-guna is understood by the symptoms. The first symptom of Sattva-guna, the characteristic of Sattva-guna is Nirmalatvat. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat. It is purest. Prakashatmakam. It is illuminating. Anamayam. Without any sinful reactions. Sukasangena Badnati. That is also binding. But it is binding by some a feeling of happiness. It is also binding. How the 3 modes of nature bind. That is what is described here. First, how the mode of goodness binds. That is described. Now, Tatra, of the 3, Sattva produces Prakashatmakam. Means it produces knowledge and happiness, which is contrary to suffering. Anamayam. Anamayam. It is not anam. It is health. Good health. Use good health in one sense. Because of sattva. So knowledge material knowledge, kind of a sense of being happy. That is the nature of Sattva. But the Sattva also binds a person to the material world. Just because somebody is in Sattva, that doesn't mean he is transcendental. Okay. Read the second paragraph of the purport.
The difficulty here is that when a living entity is situated in the mode of goodness, he becomes conditioned to feel that he is advanced in knowledge and is better than others. In this way, he becomes conditioned. The best examples are the scientist and the philosopher. Each is very proud of his knowledge, and because they generally improve their living conditions, they feel a sort of material happiness. This sense of advanced happiness in conditioned life makes them bound by the mode of goodness of material nature. As such, they are attracted toward working in the mode of goodness, and as long as they have an attraction for working in that way, they have to take some type of body in the modes of nature. Thus, there is no likelihood of liberation or of being transferred to the spiritual world. Repeatedly, one may become a philosopher, a scientist, or a poet, and repeatedly become entangled in the same disadvantages of birth and death. Due to the illusion of the material energy, one thinks that that sort of life is pleasant.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, here it is mentioned that the philosopher and the scientist are in the mode of goodness, but throughout we see Srila Prabhupada is bashing the philosophers for being ignorant because they don't have any real knowledge. They only have this superficial knowledge. So, how to reconcile these?
Okay. See, all the three modes are ignorance. This material world is ignorance. When you become ignorant of Krishna consciousness, then what happens is you become these three modes manifest. Sattva-guna is also ignorance, Tamoguna is also, Rajoguna is also ignorance, and Tamoguna is also ignorance. All three are ignorance. So when Srila Prabhupada says that every scientists are ignorance, they are in ignorance. But within that ignorance, they manifest Sattva-guna because they are studying, they're peaceful, they do research, they want to know the truth. And also these modes are very relative. See, somebody may be in Sattva-guna, but compared to somebody else, he may be in Tamoguna. So it is not just these gunas are just like gunas. They are relative also. Somebody who maybe you may call as a person in Tamoguna in India, he may be considered as a person in Sattva-guna when he goes to America or something like that. So it's more relative. It's not just 1, 2, 3. It's all like combination. It's a spectrum. Spectrum of gunas. Sometimes somebody who has been who thinks himself to be very is degraded in this land of Bharata for being very sinful. Where when he goes to West, where they're killing cows and killing children, then they are more sinful compared to him. It's a question of comparison. That's all. Ultimately, the modes are also modes of material nature. They are all ignorance only because they are all material. Matter means tamas. And within this tamas, you have sattva, rajas, tama. So that's how we understand these things. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Next, Rajoguna. Rajoragatmakam vidyat trishtasanga samudbhavan tannivaddhati mahakaunteya dharmasangena dehinam. Rajoragatmakam vidyat. Rajoguna means raga, excessive attachment. Rajo ragatman vidhi. Krishna sanga samudbhavan. And because of raga, there is Krishna thinking that, oh, if I get what I want, I'll be happy. That is Krishna. You're not going to be happy. Whatever you want, you try to get it, you'll never be happy with that. That is why you want something else. If you're happy with whatever you get, then you should be happy with whatever you got. Why try to get something else? You are trying to get something else because you're not happy with what you have. And so this is called Krishna. Every time you try to get something, achieve something, you need to try to get something else. That shows that what you got is not going to give you happiness. It's called Krishna, Raja Krishna. Okay. Tannimaddanti Mahabaho Karma Sangena Dehinam. And this thing, it entangles more and more into material existence because Karma Sangena Dehinam. This is passion. So read the purport.
The mode of passion is characterized by the attraction between man and woman. Woman has attraction for man and man has attraction for woman. This is called the mode of passion. And when the mode of passion is increased, one develops the hankering for material enjoyment. He wants to enjoy sense gratification. For sense gratification, a man in the mode of passion wants some honor in society or in the nation, and he wants to have a happy family with nice children, wife, and house. These are the products of the mode of passion. As long as one is hankering after these things, he has to work very hard. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that he becomes associated with the fruits of his activities and thus becomes bound by such activities. In order to please his wife, children, and society, and to keep up his prestige, one has to work. Therefore, the whole material world is more or less in the mode of passion. Modern civilization is considered to be advanced in the standard of the mode of passion. Formerly, the advanced condition was considered to be in the mode of goodness. If there is no liberation for those in the mode of goodness, what to speak of those who are entangled in the mode of passion?
So formerly the advanced condition was considered a mode of goodness. If there is no liberation for those in mode of goodness, then what to speak of those who are in mode of passion? Now, if you're in goodness, they laugh at you. Hey, what is you're useless? So earlier people were thinking, oh, you're peaceful, very nice, you're learned. And now if you're learned, they laugh at you. How much money you got? That is more important. How much wealth you made? That is more important. So, depending on the society and the time, place, etc., people give more prominence to different modes. Next, tamas. What is mode of ignorance? Tamas tajnana jamvitti mohanam sarvadehinam pramadarasya nidras tannivathati bharata. Oh, son of Bharata. Oh, Bharata. Tamastu ajnanajam vidhi. Ajnana produced of ignorance. Vidhi. Mohanam sarvadehinam. Everybody is bewildered. Pramada alasya nidya. Vididra. These are three symptoms. Pramada means madness. Alasya means alasya, alsipan. And nidra means sleep. Tannimaddanti Bharata. This is called mode of ignorance. Among all the three, this is something special. That is why tu is used. It's very significant. It means that mode of ignorance is very peculiar qualification of the embodied souls. Read purport.
In this verse, the specific application of the word tu is very significant. This means that the mode of ignorance is very peculiar qualification of the embodied soul. The mode of ignorance is just opposite of the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, by development of knowledge, one can understand what is what. But the mode of ignorance is just opposite. Everyone under the spell of the mode of ignorance become mad, and madman cannot understand what is what. Instead of making advancement, one become degraded. The definition of mode of ignorance is stated in Vedic literature. Vastu yata yata atmai jana varkanam viparna jana janakam tamaha. Under the spell of ignorance, one cannot understand a thing as it is. For example, everyone can see that his grandfather has died, and therefore he will also die. Man is mortal. The children that he conceives will also die. So death is sure. Still, people are madly accumulating money and working very hard all day and night, not caring for eternal spirit. This is madness. In their madness, they are very reluctant to make advancement in spiritual understanding. Such people are very lazy. When they are invited to associate for spiritual understanding, they are not much interested. They are not even active like that, like the man who is controlled by the mode of passion. Thus, another symptom of embedded in the mode of ignorance is that sleeps more than it is required. 6 hours of sleep is sufficient, but a man in a mode of ignorance sleep at least 10 or 12 hours a day. Such a man appears to be always dejected and addicted to intoxicants and sleeping. These are the symptoms of a person's condition by the mode of ignorance.
So now 3 modes are described: sattva, rajas, tama. Sattva means it is he will be peaceful, symptomized by peace. Rajoguna is symptomized by anxiety. Tamaguna is symptomized by laziness and sleep and ignorance and dangerous life. It's full of danger. Tamaga, actually danger, madness. Why a person in mode of goodness is peaceful? Because he governs his life according to the principle of what? Simple living, high thinking. Person in mode of passion is always busy, and he is thinking money is honey. So I work hard to get money and be happy. If I satisfy my desires, I'll be happy. But the person in mode of ignorance, he is something special other than these two. Tamaguna, Ajnanajam Vidhi, Mohanam, it deludes everyone. He thinks that misery is happiness. That is called Tamaguna. Tamaguna means he doesn't even know that he's suffering. That is why he gets drunk and then he laughs, he smiles. It's called Tamaguna. The lack of enthusiasm is called alasya. Nidra is sleep. This in the mode of ignorance, the person is not even aware that he's suffering. It is in mode of passion and goodness. There is an awareness that he's suffering. Ninth, Sattam Sukhe Sanyayati Raja Karmani Bharata Jnanamavritya Tamastamaha Tamade Sanjayatyuta. Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati. What is the result of Sattva? Sukhe Sanjayati. Result of passion, Karmani. He is always busy producing activities which are producing attachment, action, reactions. And Jnanam Avritya Tamaha. Tama means it covers knowledge, covering. Pramade Sanjayachyuta, which leads to Pramada, to madness. And binds. All the 3 modes, they bind this world. Whether you have iron shackles or silver shackles or golden shackles. Shackles are always shackles. So it is not that only one mode is there in every person. One is in passion, there is no ignorance or goodness. One is in goodness and he doesn't have passion. No. All the three are there, but whenever something becomes prominent in the person, we address that, oh, now is in goodness. The percentage of the modes of nature, their influence, that is what is a Rajas, Tamas, Chai, Bhuya, Sattam, Bhavati, Bharata. That is why there is always a competition among the three modes, because all the three modes are there in a person. Somebody may have more goodness, somebody may have more passion, somebody may have more ignorance. But these three modes, all the three are present in the person. And what happens? They always have competition between themselves. So what is competition is described here. Rajas tamastaya bhuya sattam bhavati bharata. Rajas sattam tamaschaiva tamas sattam rajas tata. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. Competition for supremacy.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Yeah,
How these modes are competing?
I'll tell you one example.
Are they conscious being?
No, I'll tell you. It is not competing by themselves. The modes are not conscious. This is where you have to understand. The modes, when it is contaminated consciousness, when the modes are mixed with the consciousness, it's called contaminated consciousness. So it is a contaminated consciousness which is being described here. When the mode of goodness becomes prominent, then we say his consciousness is mode of goodness. So the competition doesn't happen just with the modes. Okay, this mode is, then competition happens. Now, sometimes it so happens, you must experience in your temple, in your place also. Now you are chanting, mode of goodness. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, 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 Ram. You go to sleep. So what has happened? Mode of ignorance has pushed mode of goodness and took over its position onto your consciousness. Then somebody comes and then wakes you up. Then what the passion has pushed that ignorance and then took over your consciousness. So it is not that it's a competition between them. Just you understood that the contaminated state of consciousness, it changes from goodness to ignorance, ignorance to passion, like that. That becomes more predominant. Okay.
Probably the devotional activities, the example that you just gave. So we are performing devotional activities under the modes, and at the same time we say Bhakti is transcendental. So how
That's
to
good,
understand?
very good question. Bhakti is transcendental, but the bhakta who is doing that bhakti is not transcendental. We say Nam Aparad. There is no aparad in the name, but the person is chanting because of him. It is called Nam Aparad. Right? Got it?
Yes. So our devotional practice.
Bhakti in mode of ignorance by Daksha. Bhakti in mode of passion, Dhruv Maharaj. Bhakti in mode of goodness, and they are the Prithu Maharaj. Bhakti, transcendental bhakti is done by Prachetas. In the Bhagavatam, you have 4 pastimes. Why? Because 4 kinds of bhakti was spoken by Kapila to Devayuti in the 3rd canto at the end. Bhakti in mode of ignorance, bhakti in mode of passion, bhakti in mode of ignorance, in goodness, and transcendental, pure devotional service. So, to explain these 4, he gives 4 examples. Daksha. Daksha was actually devotee of Krishna, but he's so envious. He is having hatred. But Krishna appeared in front of him, he was doing yajnas, he was doing all these activities. But he did not give up his enviousness. He wanted to hurt and show to Shiva that I am better than you. So when a devotee thinks that I want to show that I am better than you, it means actually arrogance. So it is mode of ignorance. Mode of passion, I want this, I'll do bhakti and attain this, I'll get this post, that attainment. That is mode of passion. And ultimately it is mode of goodness, that is for the sake of doing things, you do it. That is the Prithu Maharaj. So the whole of fourth canto is talking about these four kinds of bhakti and pure devotional service by the prachetas. Okay?
Yeah, just please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, is there any barometer where we can, or any device, or some to check that the whole three modes of nature are affecting us, and how we can overcome and only remain in the Satogun? Because Rajogun is also very too dangerous for us. Like from Tamogun, we can conquer it by following the devotional services. But when we are in a bhakti also, there are a lot of things in where we move into the Rajogun. Suppose by attending the complete morning program, we can be in the Rajogun, but when we go to our workplaces, then somehow some Rajo also affect us there. So how can we only remain in the Rajogun? Like yesterday you mentioned
at least when you're doing sadhana, you maintain a sattvic atmosphere so that your sadhana becomes better. Now, when you go to your work, you work according to your nature. If you are in mode of passion, you like to do some work which is a mode of passion, or you work in mode of passion. If you're transcendental, you can chant Hare Krishna 24 hours a day, but you're not. Maybe, I don't know, just turning into. So then you require that. Kshatriya requires do some Kshatriya work. So do it in connection with Krishna. Unfortunately, because Varnashrama is not so strongly established and evolved in ISKCON, we want devotees, we are forced to go and work in obnoxious places. But as we evolve and Varnashrama is established, and you can work in a devotional atmosphere according to your nature. Somebody can be a Gurukul teacher, somebody can be a farmer, somebody can be a businessman, keeping Krishna in center. But unfortunately, it is not there, and we are going towards the direction. For example, somebody is working in a software company where people are wearing all kinds of crazy dresses and coming, and then there's a party every Saturday after 3 o'clock, and you can drink as much as you want, this kind of thing. Now, if a devotee opens a software company and he employs only devotees, so then he'll have Arati in the morning, he'll have only Prasadam, it's a Janmashtami, the holiday on that day. So that's called Varnashrama. So we require good businessmen who develop these models where he gives devotees an earning opportunity either through business or through employment. So if the devotee opens a school, then he has all the children coming and then teaching them shlokas. So we want Vaishyas to take up these kind of projects and give business opportunities and employment opportunities. Instead of marketing stupid things, one devotee asks, what are you doing? Because I am marketing. What are you marketing? He told, I market ladies' fancy items. Small, 10 rupees, 5 rupees, something. Novelty shop, yeah. A lot of demand is there. And I told, why didn't you use your marketing skills in selling cow products? So cows are saved. His income is satvika. His life is also done. So we require to get into these fields so that Krishna becomes the center, and your devotional atmosphere is maintained, and your nature is also satisfied. That's called varnashram. Okay, understood? Yeah.
But Prabhupada says that 50% work is not completed still now. That is Varnashrama only, or Gurukula.
Yes. He's asking you to complete it. Every one of us will.
But Prabhu, there is very little focus on this Varnashrama systems. And if we see in Varnashrama also, it is Deva Varnashrama or which Varnashrama, which we are calling.
When we say varnashrama, it means Deva varnashrama. It just cannot mean any other varnashrama, because keeping Krishna in center, and you create business opportunities, employment opportunities, income opportunity, that is called varnashrama.
But Prabhu, if you say Vaishya also, there is ignorance and passion, both are there. And Kshatriya, there is only passion mode. And if you say in Brahmana and Sattvic, goodness, and whereas Shudra is in ignorance mode totally. In that also there are gunas are there.
Yeah, there are gunas. Your nature, it has to be there. No? As long as we are completely liberated, modes are affecting us. And use that modes, your nature, in serving Krishna. That's all.
Using our same mode, we can use for in service of Krishna.
Yes.
That is also bhakti.
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, we heard one verse like Naam Vipro Nacha Narpati. So in this, Mahaprabhu is saying that Varnashram, when he in the CC, when he's when there is a talk with the Ramanand Rai, so how to understand this, that Bhakti is not dependent on anything. So and if you see that Prabhupada disciples, they are also doing the Bhakti, and because of them we are getting. So Varnashram is still not established. So there is a need also, as Prabhu is saying that Prabhupada said that 50% work is still pending. So how to realize the need of this? To preach, to make whole world.
How do you realize the need for it? The need, you realize it by Dayanvita Bhakti Mataji. The very question, why she asked that question? Because she is going to work in a place which is very obnoxious. How are you going to help her? I don't know where you're working, but the atmosphere is very bad. That is why she asked that question. For example, she's a teacher and she goes to the school, and where the boys and the girls are like very crazily dressed and they're shouting and yelling and talking about movies. Now, we require one businessman to establish a school where the proper decor is maintained, and she can be a teacher there. So how do you understand the need? This is how you understand the need. Then you have one devotee who is going in the morning 9 o'clock and then coming back at 10 o'clock from the office, and people have drunkards and smokers, and there is no devotional atmosphere in the office. Okay? So there is a need. It's a need, an urgent need, because the congregation is growing. Earlier, that need was not filled because in America, when the movement started, if you have to be devotee, you have to be in the temple. If you're outside the temple, you're not a devotee. All devotees were in the temple only at that time. They were staying in the temple at Mangalarti compulsory. But that is not going to be, that is not the system. There's a temporary system which was there at the time. Now it expanded in the congregation. The congregation is growing, and congregation means you require money to run your house. Where will you get the money? And you have to engage yourself. You're going to nature. Where will you do? Where will you do that? How will you do that? So we want one Vaishya to establish a nice restaurant in Delhi and get only organic products and use only cow products, pure cow ghee, and employ all the devotees there who are chanting 16 rounds in the restaurant. That's Varnashram. Got it?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, one more doubt, Prabhu. If I have 4 acres of land, can I grow organic product there, Prabhu? And what are the rules?
You can grow, there's a lot of things, but most important is marketing.
Okay.
Growing is fine, but if you don't have market, how will you sustain? Or if you just sow, and just go in and stay in the place and then you cultivate it and eat the same thing, that's very rare. It's not going to be so. It's very practical at present, and that is not our goal. So 4 acres of land, fine, you can create a model and then grow some organic things, and you market the organic products, take people from Delhi to that land, and then show them how it is, and then you take you get organic products from different places, and then cow products. That can be a kind of a model, and other things can be brought, and then you preach to people. You are dying because eating all this nonsense. Eat pure food, and pure food is Krishna. Annamayam is Somamanam. As is your mind, so is your food. Do that. Think various means. So we require Vaishyas. They play an important role in establishing Varnashram. Vaishyas play the most important role in establishing Varnashram.
But all are Shudras only. Prabhupada says that in this ashram now all are working as a working community and they are Shudras. But now I born in Vaishya community. Still I have to work as a Shudras.
So you resign your job tomorrow morning, then you'll be very happy. Yeah, it's a fact, I'm telling you.
When I am an architect, Prabhu, I am working my own office and I close my office duty, but just I am working as architecture. I'm doing self-service there here. But
have your own architectural company. Don't work for somebody.
Yes, Prabhu.
You're in Adilabad. How you got connected going here? Adilabad is in Telangana.
Yes, Prabhu.
You're a Telugu person. How you got connected with Rohini?
How you got?
This course is been organized by Rohini Temple, isn't it?
Yes, but
everybody is everywhere. And Mataji is from Dubai, somebody from Adilabad. Okay. Next. So in this way, there is a competition within the modes of nature. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin 11th verse. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha pujayate jnanam yadadata vidyat divriddham sattamityuta. So the manifestation of goodness can be experienced when all the gates are illuminated by knowledge. All the gates means 9 gates are there. These 9 gates should be illuminated with knowledge. Okay, 9 gates illuminated with knowledge. We know what the 9 gates are. Lobha pravrittira arambha karmanam sprisha rajasyetan jayante vivriddhe bharatarshava. Oh, Bharatarshava, great among the Bharatas. When there is increase in passion, then there will be excessive attachment, like a dog. Dog, if you just give one biscuit to the dog comes eats a biscuit. Again, you show another biscuit. Go on showing, jumps up and up and up. throw the biscuit away, runs and then eats the biscuit, again comes back. Again you show the biscuit. You hold the biscuit, take one stick and beat the dog. Beat. The dog, it shouts and goes back. Again it comes to eat the biscuit. Again you beat the dog. You go on beating the dog. The dog is willing to get beaten for this one piece of biscuit. And that one piece of biscuit is not going to fill its stomach. But attachment is like that. You get attached to something, you're working hard, get beaten to get that particular thing. Get beaten and beaten and beaten, but you don't want to live that. That's called passion. Now in mode of good, in Rajas Etani Jayante Vivruddhe Bharatarshava is called uncontrollable. Karmanam Ashmaha Sprisha. Because of Spriha, so many desires. Rajas Etani Jayante, because of Rajas, so many desires come, uncontrollable desires. Read the purport, the 12th verse.
One in the mode of passion is never satisfied with the position he has already acquired. He hankers to increase his position. If he wants to construct a residential house, he tries his best to have a palatial house, as if he would be able to reside in that house eternally. And he develops a great hankering for sense gratification. There is no end to sense gratification. He always wants to remain with his family and in his house and to continue the process of sense gratification. There is no cessation of this. All these symptoms should be understood as characteristics of the mode of passion.
Next. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha eva cha tamasyetani jayante vivruddhe kurunandana. So now, what is the symptom of mode of ignorance? Aprakasha pravrittischa pramada moha eva cha. So, what is aprakasho? Darkness. Pravritti, inactivity. Apravritti, inactivity. And pramadaha, madness. Moha, illusion. They are all tamasi etani jayante vivruddhe purnandana. So when there is increase in ignorance, and darkness, inertia, madness, illusion, all manifest. Next. Yada Sattve pravruddhe tu pralayam yati dehavrit taduttama vidam lokan malan pradipadyate. So when a person dies in mode of goodness, he attains higher planetary systems of great sages. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralinas tansi mudha yonishu jayate. When somebody dies in mode of passion, then he attains position where people are always engrossed in working, food activities. When somebody dies in ignorance, he takes a place, birth in mode of animals, in the animal kingdom. Ignorance. Next. Karmana.
Dying in one of the mode, what it means? Like he has conquered the other two modes, or he's
no, predominantly. When somebody is predominantly in mode of goodness, predominantly in mode of passion, like that.
Okay. And how much these modes are being affected by our destiny or our previous karma? Or is it like one can develop or nurture them
What
as
is,
per?
you have this verse. Karanam gunasangasya sadas joni janmashu. Whatever modes of nature which you are associated with in the previous life, you are born with that.
Oh,
You're born with a particular mode, being prominent in particular mode. That's called nature. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. It's called nature.
okay, Bhaji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, in the purport, last line of 14th verse purport, it is written, those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to planets of great sages and great devotees.
Yeah.
So, devotees are about the modes of material nature, then how those who die in mode, who leave their body in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets of devotees.
I go on with the last thing. If you are in
Prabhuji,
mode
in
of, if you die in mode of goodness, then you go to Brahmaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, like that.
it is written that in the last line, those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets where great sages and great devotees live. So, what does it mean?
Sages and great devotees, yes. There is an opportunity for people in mode of goodness to associate with devotees. It is not that they will become devotees by goodness. They attain the planet where devotees are there.
Prabhuji, devotees will be there in the spiritual world. But devotees will be there in the spiritual world, in material worlds, or they're talking, here it is talking about demigods or devotees.
Mostly people in Brahmaloka are devotees. It's not talking about spiritual world. It is Brahmaloka, higher planetary systems. Okay. That means he gets an opportunity. Okay. Next, 16th.
In verse 12, it was written that develops a great hankering for self-gratification. There is no end for self-gratification. He wants to construct a residential house. He tries his best to have a palatial house like this. So, Prabhuji, as we are practicing and we see the acharyas that they like Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they used not to stay just under one tree, and next night they used to spend at another tree not to get attached. So, Prabhuji, how to understand that uh, uh, how to overcome this like this, that I may not get attached
Why
to it.
you see, Shad Goswamis, they are first liberated souls and they are renounced people, and you are not. So act according to your position. You don't have to imitate somebody. Act according to your position. So what is Swaya Sudarma Pradharmat Bhayavaha? You studied this in the fourth chapter, Bhagavad Gita. It is better to practice one's own dharma than to imitate others' dharma, isn't it? So whatever dharma is for a grahastha, you practice the dharma. Why you want to practice the dharma of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami? You renounced your Babajis. Isn't it? So stay in your house. Stay in your house, be fixed up, and you chant Hare Krishna. Okay? Karmana sukrutasyayo satvikam nirmalam phalam vajasastu phalam dukkham jnanam tamasa phalam. Summarizing the entire thing, again the same thing is spoken. What is it? Karmanaha sukrutasyahu, for pious karma, satvikam nirmalam phalam, for the result of pious actions is pure and said to be mode of goodness. And actions are in mode of passion, gives misery, and actions mode of ignorance, they give foolishness. So, summarizing the entire thing, please read. As for the mode of, I think it should read the entire purport because it's going to conclude. No. Okay, not required. 17. Sattva sanjayate jnanam vajaso loba eva cha pramada moha adotamaso bhavato jnanam eva cha bhavato jnanam eva cha. The mode of goodness, knowledge develops. Mode of passion, greed develops. Mode of ignorance, foolishness, madness, and illusion develops. So read the purport.
Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. In the mode of ignorance, people are just like animals and cannot see things clearly. In the mode of ignorance, for example, they do not see that by killing one animal, they are taking the chance of being killed by the same animal in the next life. Because people have no education and actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they're actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober, in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous. Even if the majority of the people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in the mode of goodness, then there is the possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world. Otherwise, if the world is devoted to the modes of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace or prosperity. In the mode of passion, people become greedy and their hankering for sense enjoyment has no limit. One can see that even if one has enough money and adequate arrangements for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind. That is not possible because one is situated in the mode of passion. If one wants happiness at all, his money will not help him. He has to elevate himself to the mode of goodness by practicing Krishna consciousness. When one is engaged in the mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy, but his profession and occupation are also very troublesome. He has to devise so many plans and schemes to acquire enough money to maintain his status quo. This is all miserable. In the mode of ignorance, people become mad, being distressed by their circumstances. They take shelter of intoxication and thus they sink further into ignorance. Their future in life is very dark.
Urdham gachan sattva madhya tishthanti rajasa jagadannado gachanti jagadanya guna adho gachanti tamasa. Very simple. Those who are in mode of goodness, they go to higher planetary systems, madhya tishthanti, 50 planetary systems. Those who are in Rajaguna, they are gone, and ultimately those who are in Tamaguna, they are gone into lower species of life.
Hare Krishna.
Next. Yeah.
Prabhu, what is real Krishna consciousness? Some says book distribution, some says chanting, some says Varnashram Dharma, and so many says different Padayatra, some things. There are means confusion. What should a Krishna conscious person should do, Prabhu?
Whatever it takes for him to become Krishna conscious. Some say something, but everybody says one thing. Chant Hare Krishna, isn't it? Now, when you start chanting Hare Krishna, You develop ruchi in chanting Hare Krishna mantra only when you serve the spiritual master, that you do book distribution. So in your book distribution, if your devotees, few people read books and then want to come to your program, weekly program. Gradually they start chanting 16 rounds and then they get initiated. Now after Sankirtan, there is initiation. And gradually after initiation, few more devotees, 50, 60 families come, they say, we want a temple. So then your temple building movement starts. So when the temple is built up, these few devotees who have been devotees for 15, 20 years, they say, Prabhuji, now when I'm 50, now I'm fed up with all these things. I want to chant 64 rounds a day and engross myself in Bhagavatam. So you require a farm. So in this way, in any new place, when you go to preach, first is Harinam Sankirtan, then Sankirtan movement, then initiation movement, then temple construction movement, then Varnashram movement. You don't go to a new place and install Varnashram there. First, you have to create devotees by doing Sankirtan, by pravachan, by kirtans, by book distribution, by having festivals. Then when some people get together, they become very fixed up in Krishna consciousness by initiation. Then you get initiated. When you get people initiated, then you have, next step is what? Temple construction. When temple construction movement is done, then people think of a farm. Isn't it? Got it?
Yes, Prabhu.
So when you say some people say this, some people say, some people actually they are telling the same thing, but according to their project requirements and according to their service which they have been given by. For example, you go to a temple, Pujari, he gives you some prasad, adarshan, vishatari. Then naturally you ask him what seva I can do. Then he said, sponsor Rajguru. Now you come down and then you find a person is sitting there and then talks to you very nicely, gives you prasadam, he serves a khichdi. And he says, why don't you give Annadan? It's very important. Annadan is most important. Annadan Mahada. Now, by the time you come out and you find it, when devotees say, what is the use of your life if you don't take a book? You coming to the temple is useless if you don't buy a book. This is deity. This is Sankirtan. Now, everybody, you may say everybody is saying different things, but everybody is saying according to what they are, the job is given for them, isn't it? And you do all, but in progression. Got it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji.
Krishna.
May I ask one question?
Yeah.
Regarding the discussion going on Varnashram, that's very a needed topic in ISKCON. So Prabhuji, like Prabhupada used to say that after some years there will be congregation, and when he was going through a church and he mentioned that this will happen in the future of ISKCON, that devotees will come in the weekend because they will be working, they will be living in the Grihastha ashram. So that's what it has come true. But Prabhuji, as far as Varnashram, it's a very long topic. Every senior devotee speaks on it, and that's very detailed, and we all have to work on it. Then it can be started. So, like you mentioned that one who's a Vaishya, and Vaishyas are the will play a very potential role in establishing this Varnashram Dharam. So when a person, like, I'm not working, I'm just asking generally, when a devotee starts practicing Krishna consciousness, he or she comes to know about the things we should do and we should not do, but they have a family responsibilities, they have a temple responsibilities, so they cannot just switch off their job all of a sudden and they will start thinking for something which is in the for the work which is in the mode of goodness. So and if then how that person should go ahead, the first question. And the second thing, like I've heard a few years back saying His Grace Ashram Prabhu from Pune, he was saying that we have ISKCON has established every system like brahmachari system and like sannyas system and the grasta system. So that's how these are in work. but we haven't started established any varnashram system as yet. So people are not coming, they are attached to their houses, they are living, and that Pune temple has started that, and now they have a varnashram community, sorry, Vanprastha community, and they are serving in the temple. So like that, in this space, on this space, if some of the I mean to say wealthy Vaishyas devotees or some I don't know how will it be worked on, then if they take the lead, then many can follow, many can help them. So this can be started, that ISKCON will have a community of devotees who are who are actually Vaishyas, and they are serving on the Varnashram system and in the mode of goodness.
Yes, yes. 100% perfect. You require a heavy investment of Vaishyas, do business, and then make sure that it is prosperous. And ISKCON has a big brand now. ISKCON community is too huge. So I give an idea to one devotee. I don't know, it's not, he said, I'll do, but I don't know what's happening. His karmas are not allowing to do that. So you invest few crores and buy a big land and give one part of the land to the temple. ISKCON will develop it. And all the devotees take houses nearby and have a school in the small town or village or the city. And then you have children coming, your children studying there. And you create employment to the devotees. Like for example, saying boy or a girl passing out from their graduation, whatever the thing is, they can be employed as a teacher. They'll be happy to get lesser salary and have a devotional atmosphere. And you have a chain of you have restaurants. Yeah, all can be done. Actually, what the whole of India is Varnashram. I just have to remember, if there's a hotel, everybody has to going to a hotel, isn't it, to eat? So if you ask them to just stop all the non-veg and remove lasan pyaj and do offering and then have it give prasadam for everyone, fine, na? What is the problem? So if that is not happening, so we create economy has to be created. Varnashram means economy. Economy from Sattvic economy. So when you have economy, then people would like to join you because they're happy to get few thousand rupees and then live simple life and serve. Yeah. Okay.
Prabhu, exactly, cow was the main source for economy in the previous ages, but it has nowadays it has become a burden for maintaining cow also in nowadays, because maintaining and is
because again, did you hear my class on cows during Panjai Park Temple? You hear that?
no, I mean,
you just go to YouTube and type Panjai Park Kamalochanda's cow. Then you get one lecture. So we are now thinking of supplying cow milk to Delhi also. We're doing 3,500 liters of cow milk in Mumbai. And now we're trying to do something in Delhi. One devotee got interested. Harinam Seva Prabhu. So I'm trying to encourage him to take up this business so that everybody will come in. You know what I'll tell you a story. You say to maintain one cow is so difficult, now it's become a burden. In 2016 or 17, at the time, I wanted devotees to buy cow milk. We did 200. We were about 30 devotees became ready to buy cow milk for at least 150 rupees also if we can get it. Then I went to some villages and I got to contact Barwads. So government was purchasing cow milk for 24 rupees from them. Buffalo milk for 40 rupees per liter. I told, I'll purchase from you at 45 rupees, 50 rupees per liter. You're shocked. At the time, they had around the big family, Mama, Chacha and all. They had around say 400 cows. And the head of the family there, he told no to the sons to bring buffaloes anymore. So they are all having some family fight because of this. When they got this news that we're going to get 40, 45 rupees, 50 rupees per kilo, it's in very interior, on hills and it's all jungles on Lonavala side. So they were very happy and we started purchasing from the 200 liters. Now it has become 3,500 liters in supply in Mumbai. Now the whole family, the group of families, a few groups of families that is who had 300 years back, they shifted from Gujarat to Maharashtra because of the Muslim some trouble. Now at present they have 1,800 cows in the past 7 years. How they maintain? Because you created a business by which the cows are supported, the cow herd is supported, the cow herd is taking care of the cow. That is why I told do marketing. So it's not a burden. And cow products, Dantvanjan. If everybody in Delhi, all the congregation in Delhi starts using only Dantvanjan, it has gobar in it, burnt gobar. You know how much is going to happen? How many cows would be saved going to the slaughterhouse? How many non-milking cows will be kept? Demand of the non-milking cows will increase because they are giving gobar. If you are using Angrag and Dantvanjan instead of toothpaste and then soap, how much increase? Tremendous. They will not let the cow outside. They will feed the cow nicely because it has to give cow dung. So create a demand for cow products. When you create a demand for the cow products, there's economy. People will purchase, the money will go for the cow, and that is how you protect. It's not by giving some donation, the cow product, the Goshalas are going to run. Goshalas are like an athalaya. To protect your children, do you build an athalaya? No. You don't do that. You build a place, okay, come and stay and eat. No. You have to make it productive. How do you make it productive? By marketing. Okay. This verse is a bit philosophical, the 19th verse. So I'll do it tomorrow. I'm very tired because whole day yesterday travel, whole night travel, morning, whole day it was meetings here, GBC meetings. I'm a bit drowsy today. So we stop here because the 19th, Nayam Gunebhya Kartaram Tadrishtana Prashati, Gunebhya Parametti Madbhavan Sadhigachati. This verse I'll speak to you tomorrow. Okay. We stop here. Hare Krishna.